Hello everybody, this is WizzyPoo. I'm going to be going over our mod called Stargate Worlds, and a lot of people have never seen or used this mod before. So this is what your crafting bench looks like for this mod. You would just open up your engrams and you're going to type in SGW for Stargate World. It's going to bring up all of your engrams for that mod. There is also supposed to be an engram here for Stargate Shield, but I have that disabled because the shield basically allows you to have a shield over Stargate, and if that shield is enabled, anybody who comes through the Stargate, and including their dinos, will get automatically killed. So since this is a PvE server and I don't want allies trolling each other and killing people's wyverns and all kinds of craziness, and that'd be very depressing, I disabled that engram. So nobody has to worry about that. If you enable shield on your Stargate, you can't actually enable the shield. These two engrams at the bottom here that are grayed out are just for, I believe that it was something that the dev of this mod was going to implement in a further update, but they never updated it, and so this has just been here for like over a year, and I don't think it's going to be updated, so just ignore these two engrams at the bottom. Going over these, Stargate Remote is how you're going to dial the Stargate without your DHT. You can dial any gate that you encounter, so even if it's not your gate and say it's some random tribe mate and you're not even allied to that person, you can dial out from their gate with your Stargate Remote, which only takes 1 stone to craft. The DHD is if you don't have a Stargate Remote and you just want it for looks like how it does in the show. You can use the DHD, but it is not required to dial out or dial into the gate. The gates and wormholes do work one way, just like the show. We do have the gold teleporter rings, which is just like the show as well. That basically brings you vertically up and down. You can go somewhat horizontally with it, but I think it's limited to like 50 foundations or something with how far away it can go. The ancient bench is where you craft all of your items. Then you have the Stargate, which is how you get around the map with that Stargate. You can dial to your own gates in your tribe. You can dial to public gates, which admins can place, which I have a few public gates on our servers where there are good farming spots, so you could just go through the gate with your Anki and farm. Then there's the Stargate ZPM, which is what you are required to have your gate powered. So if you don't have a ZPM in your gate, you can't dial to it, you can't dial out from it, and nobody can dial to your gate. Jumper Energy Cell is how you passive tame the puddle jumpers, which are from Stargate Atlantis, and it's also their food source. So if you have a puddle jumper, it has to eat this. It doesn't eat anything else. It doesn't take, it takes a long time for it to actually have to eat, and this gives them a lot of food. The Lost Temple rune is how you're going to go to the Lost Temple, so that way you can tame a new puddle jumper in case you lose it or you want a second one. So going over those, I did just make a jumper energy cell, an extra ZPM, and a Lost Temple rune. So in order to make the Lost Temple rune, you do need 3 generic, random, doesn't matter which one, they could all be the same artifacts. So you could use Artifact of the Brute, which is extremely easy to get on Rag. I'm going to go over where the easiest artifact on Ragnarok is to get. So there's Red Obi right here, and you have this little river going up to this waterfall. I'm going to open my map here so you can see about where I am. I'm going to give exact coords with my binoculars, which is 34.2, 79.3 is the entrance to this. You just come in here. There's no dinos in here. You just hop out and grab this. If nobody's looted it in a while, there will be 2 of them to get. If you're on our servers, you can place your mailbox down or put one, let me see if you can put it in the puddle jumper. No, you cannot. Yep. So you have to put it inside your mailbox if you're on our servers. So you put one in your mailbox, and you can pick the other one up. So you can get both of them if you're by yourself. You have to bring an extra ZPM whenever you go to the Lost Temple, because there's a Stargate in there that you're dialing to, and when you go to leave with your puddle jumper, if you don't have a ZPM to power that gate to get out, you can't get out and you're stuck in there and you're going to have to force kill yourself. So make sure you bring that, and make sure you bring the jumper energy cell to tame the puddle jumper when going to the Lost Temple. So we're going to go to the Lost Temple so I can show you guys what that looks like. It is kind of dark in there, so I do recommend bringing a glow pad. It's nice to be able to see, you know, the actual inside the temple and look around and stuff. So to dial out, you take out your remote and your on your hotbar, and you right-click it. It's going to bring up this interface, and this looks really crazy because, well, I have a lot of bases, and these are all of our allies' bases and the public ones who have public next to them. So some of these gates are underwater, so you need to be very careful. Like if you're going to somebody's gate, make sure that it's not underwater, and don't go to a gate unless you know where it goes to. Like don't go there with a flyer if it's underwater, and don't go to some random gate if you're going through an underwater gate, because if it's above water, your water dino is going to get insta-dead. So, going to, let me see. I'm going to go to the Lost Temple so that we can see what this looks like. So you're going to press right-click on, just kidding. You're going to press E to consume it. So it's going to give you a bunch of numbers, 835741. So we're going to right-click, and up here in the dial pad, we're going to put 835741. 8, 3. Why is it saving me? Hello, chat. Go away. 835741. There we go. Alright, and we are dialing up. So you can tell that you're able to dial and go to the Lost Temple room because you have this cloud around you. And even if you mess up and something happens, you have this little tablet that tells you where you're supposed to go for the cords, where the dialing number is, for an hour. So you have an hour in case when you go to Lost Temple, if it's closed or not. So this is the animation of the gate dialing. I'm just going to do it once. You do not have to wait the full dialing for this gate to go through. I typically wait for the first chevron to lock. Once that chevron locks, I just step through. You can do it instantly. I just recommend waiting a second. And that gate is ready to go through now that we saw the animation. And this is the Lost Temple rune. So once you're here, this is basically what it looks like. Having a glow pet is super nice because you just have your own natural light source that you can run around with. You can bring a torch as well. And then over here, there's no dinos here, so you don't have to worry about getting killed or murdered by something. Once you go through here, this is going to have this here, which, I mean, the person who made this mod did such a good job. All the bosses are here: Broodmother, Megapithecus, Dragon, and Manicore. If you walk up to here, there is only one truth: the universe is infinite. So then there's this little room here, which we're going to go through. And once you step through, it kind of takes control of your camera, and that's going to close behind you. Then you're going to walk up to these pots, and one says, treasures in this pot, universe is infinite. Well, we're going to pick universe is infinite. It'll say someone has passed the ancient test. The whole server can see this. It will teleport you out back into the front where you first teleported in. And then this wild puddle jumper will be here. It's just passive tame. And you are going to put this puddle cell, jumper cell, in your last slot to press E on it. So once you do that, you tame the puddle jumper. They are all level 5, so don't think that you got juked because you got a level 5. All of them are level 5. And it looks like this gate still has a ZPM for us. I'm just going to check. It doesn't. Let me test this because it doesn't look like it does. Let's see if I can dial out from this gate. So we're going to say we're going to go to guess we can just go anywhere. Yep, see, it didn't work. It gave you like a busy signal because it's not going to work because there's no ZPM in this gate. So that's why you have to bring the extra ZPM with you, because this gate right now is not powered. I cannot leave out of this place without the ZPM being powered. So we're going to put this in the trophy slot. And now this gate is powered. I can dial out and I can leave. Now when you complete and pass the ancient test, you get the primitive jumper saddle interface thing in your inventory. This is the saddle for the jumper just so that you can ride it and use it. So if we get in our jumper, it can strafe side to side, it can go forward, back, up, down, and you can fly backwards as well, yeah. So you can dial, you don't have to have a remote to dial from your jumper. You can just right click inside your jumper, and if you're near a gate you can dial from it. So we're just going to go to Cliff. So first chevron locked, I'm just going to go through. So now I basically came out from the other side of the map from where I was. So I'm going to open my map, and I was over at like 50, 20-ish earlier, but I gated to a different gate, which is just some extra little gate place I have where I tame stuff usually. So once you go through a gate, I do recommend to turn off the gate so that other people, if they need to come into that gate, they can use it and it doesn't give them a busy signal. Talking about stats for these guys, you see I have 163 torpor, so you have to be really careful. You never want to mess with a boa or a scorpion or anything that's going to inflict torpor to your puddle jumper. That will KO your puddle jumper and you won't be able to go anywhere with it. It's just going to sit there helplessly and be absolutely screwed. So for levels, I just put a few in stam and I put all the rest in weight. You can't level anything else, and you also you do not want to upload this. You don't want to put it in a mailbox from Pimp My Home. You don't want to put it in an OB or a drop. You never want to upload it. These bug out if you upload them. I uploaded one and it came out with like 100 HP after it was uploaded. It was just nerfed to hell. So never ever ever upload it. If you accidentally upload it, I really would just go get another one. These guys will also not follow you. So if you get killed and your puddle jumper is like in the middle of getting the crap beat out of it, you can't whistle it to follow you. It will not follow you. It will just sit there and not move as if it's encumbered. So you have to get to it yourself and fly it away. Talking about more uses for these puddle jumpers, which is pretty frickin' amazing if you need to get back and get someone, or if you need to pick up some tribe mates. One puddle jumper can hold 10 passengers, so you could really have like a little school bus going on and go on a taming adventure. It's pretty awesome. They also have the ability to go underwater, so you can straight up go underwater with these things. You see how I have the puddle jumper buff? I had it for a second ago in the bottom right corner. When that happens and it actually stays, you see how I just got it back again? It does not consume your oxygen bar. It doesn't always work. It does bug out sometimes, and it will stop working and just start consuming oxygen. I don't have scuba on. I will show you that I do not have scuba on. So if you saw like my oxygen was just going back up, and now it's back to working again, and now it went away, and now my oxygen is depleting. So if you do go down with one of these and you aren't wearing scuba, just be aware that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You will have to keep an eye on your oxygen bar. Oh, look at that! It's an alpha megalodon. And so you can go anywhere with these things. It's awesome. So now that my oxygen is severely depleting, I'm gonna go to the surface. Puddle jumpers are great for building as well. So if you were gonna place structures, you know, on a flyer, I mean, a tape would be a good comparison, since you can strafe side to side and go back and forth and up and down and all that. But no tape in this world is gonna have, you know, 4K starting weight, and that's just starting. So I mean, you start leveling this thing, I mean, you get like 7K weight on it, and you could just have all your structures and do everything you're going to do for building, and just go first person and snap it and take out a demo gun, pick it up, fix it, and just keep on building. Alright, I am going to test this just to see if I can confirm this or not. I have no idea, but here we have a thyla on a tree. And I want to test, can this thyla rip me out of my puddle jumper? Well, let's try it. Hello? Hello? I'm like super scared. Does this thing just not see me or what? Oh, let me in! I don't know if that thing just never saw me or what the hell is that thing? Let's go find another one. Hello, little guy. Okay, he sees me. I think he saw me. Yeah, he did flinch like he saw me, so I guess that would confirm that a Thyla can't rip you out of your puddle jumper. I have no idea if that is true for passengers or not, but it's definitely not true for, I guess I would say drivers. Alright, talking about something else that you can do with a puddle jumper is you can kind of like magnetize it to the floor. If you press X, it completely did that by itself. It'll auto land and like magnet you to the floor. So I can just go crazy, drift around, go sideways, drift around stuff. It's really fun, especially if you put a 500% costume on. But you do have to be careful, like if you hit a rock while you're doing this and it launches you, let me see if I can do this. Like that. You have to press space there. If you just let it land, it's going to take a ton of fall damage. It can take fall damage. So if you are going to go around like that and you are going to magnetize yourself, press X again, you do have to make sure that if you look like you're going to take a fall, you need to just press space so you don't take the actual damage. Alright, talking about how useful these gates are on your server. So say I'm like, okay, well I need some more metal, so I want to go farm some metal. You have your little remote on your bar, and we have a public metal farm. There can be nameless there, so that's just put there as a precaution. This is a public one, so anyone can go here. First chevron locked, we can go through. And this is the metal farm. So once you go through the gate, you are now all the way over here from 50, 20-ish in a second. So you just farm your little heart out. Something that I used over here for actually farming the metal, I'm going to show you in a second. Are the teleporters. So the teleporters, like from the show, you stand on it. You can use a dino with this. If it's unlocked, it can also teleport wild dinos. So we stand on it. And that just brought me down below from up there. So you can get up and down without having to use a teleporter here, but it's just way more convenient than trying to like angle just right up that little hill just to stand on this little platform here and go up and down. And now we're back up top. I'm gonna go farm some crystal. So we're gonna look for the crystal gate in this long crazy list. It is cold there, so I put that in parentheses. We'll let the first chevron lock, and then we can go through. And now we are under the frozen lake in Rag. So we're gonna look back at our gate, disconnect it, in case anyone else wants to come through, and then you can just run through this cave and farm the crystal. Oh, I need obsidian. Just go to the obsidian farm. And we go right down here. We're gonna actually go back and turn this gate off. There's usually never any dinos in here, but this is next to the volcano, which there can be pretty bad predators, so you gotta be careful sometimes. We're gonna go get some pearls, which if nobody if you're not aware of this, Angler is the best thing in the game for pearls. You definitely want to tame one of these if you have never used one before. They do not have a costume slot, however, so you will not be able to increase their speed by a costume. You will have to give them some movement speed through leveling. So this is what happens when you use an underwater gate, which I'm going to do in a second. When using an underwater gate, you have to make sure that the gate that you are going to is underwater if you're on a water dino. If not, you are instantly killing your water dino. So we want to go to our pearl farm. This is underwater, so we're going to make sure that's the one that we're dialing. 910287, 910287, okay. We're going to go through it. And now we're going to close it. And now we have this whole beautiful cave full of pearls to harvest. I just went the wrong way. If the water clears up, I don't know why under here the clear water mod does not work. It'll still stay murky. If it clears up, you're going the way that's out of this cave. So here we just have all these pearls. I mean, 1,300 pearls from that little 2 chomp right there. You get 441 per bite with these guys. Like, it's just... There's no better way to farm pearls. And this chamber is super long. It's full of pearls, and there's nothing in here. I think twice I've seen a megalodon in here. I think once I saw a bacillo, and that's about it. There'll be the occasional manta. Sometimes you'll see an ichthy, but for the most part, this is super empty. I mean, it's unless you get like the super, super rare chance that you get an alpha megalodon in here, which I've never seen. It should be a piece of cake to just go through here with your angler. It does have several passageways. You see all those pearls right there? There's pearls everywhere in here. Like, holy crap. I think on one run, I usually get over 100k pearls. If I really go through the cave and make sure I'm getting them all, so this, you won't have to come back for a while going through here just once with an angler. If you have a shoulder pet like a glow pet on you, as long as you don't drown, they can stay on your shoulder indefinitely. You don't have to worry about their oxygen. Another thing I'm going to note, you want to make sure wherever you place your gate from your base or going to wherever you're going, you want to make sure it's outside. You never ever ever want your gate to be inside, because when you run through it, if you're running away from something, or you know, oh crap, there's a rock drake following me, or there's a rock elemental following me and I'm farming metal, if you run through the gate and you don't close it fast enough and this is inside your building, that rock elemental can come through the gate into your base and just wreck face to your whole base, destroy a whole bunch of stuff, maybe kill some of your dinos in the process if you don't have something big enough to kill it. Or you could get an Indom or a Giga to come through there, and that is no bueno. You do not want that. So make sure that this is outside, where if something dangerous does come through, it's not in your building or where you have all your tames on passive. Okay, talking about teleporters, I'm going to go over my teleporters just in this one building just to see how they work. So this one here, I don't have it named anything, and it's just going to go right above us right here. This just took me into my crafting room, so we can go back down. And I have one over here in this corner. So this one is named Top. If you, I'm going to show you, I'm going to use this gate, this rings, elevator, teleporter, whatever you want to call it. You see this one is also named Top. So before I named this, it was taking me to the wrong one. Even though I had these placed, it was like taking me to a different one that was in another part of the building. If you want 2 elevator rings to specifically go to a specific elevator ring, you just rename them both the same thing. So since these are both renamed to Top, it will force these 2 to go to each other. When it comes to taming with these guys, you see there's a parasaur down there. Like, you could technically tame it from up here with one of these puddle jumpers. You just dismount, and as long as you're high enough, it won't force land and go to the ground, and you can just trank it from up here, or kill it from up here, whichever one you're trying to do. So it's pretty fun. It's a really interesting tool to have. It's great for building. It's great for taming. It's great for toting people around and dropping them off if they get stuck or they need to go get their stuff. It's perfect for all of that. Alright, this wraps up our Stargate Worlds mod video. If you guys have any questions, you can post a comment below. Our servers are recruiting, so if you'd like any info about joining those, you could send me a message in Discord. It's going to be in the description below. And thank you so much for joining us and supporting us, and we appreciate you, and we will see you next time.